Everyone watches the biggest sporting events on Earth: the Olympics, the World Cup, Formula One. Athletes compete, records are broken, champions are crowned. But that's only what we see. Because behind every major sporting event, there's a system, a machine, and sometimes stories that sound almost impossible. Welcome to Inside the Games. Today, if you think global sport is just the Olympics and the World Cup, you're missing almost everything. For every event you actually see, there are dozens happening that decide who gets there, who stays out, and who disappears completely. And if you want to work in this industry, those are the ones you should be paying attention to. The real calendar. Every year, there are hundreds of international competitions happening. Some are global, some are continental. Most of them you've never heard of, but they all matter. Take the Olympics. Athletes don't qualify there. To get in, they go through world championships, ranking systems, continental competitions. In athletics, for example, the World Athletics Championships are not just another event. They are one of the highest levels of competition in the sport. Medals matter, but rankings matter more. Rankings define qualification standards, and those standards decide who makes it to the Olympic Games. And in athletics, the World Championships are often just as competitive as the Olympics, sometimes even more. No quota adjustments, no host nation spots, just pure standards. If you're there, you belong. And that level changes how the event is delivered. So when you watch the Olympics, you're watching the result. Same story in football. The World Cup is the end, the part everyone sees. Before it, there's a qualification system that runs for years, and it's not the same everywhere. Each confederation has its own number of slots, its own format, its own calendar. South America plays a full league format, everyone against everyone, home and away. Europe splits into groups, then playoffs. Africa runs multiple rounds, groups, knockouts, long travel. Asia mixes formats, different phases, different stakes. North America has its own structure. Oceania fights through intercontinental playoffs. Same World Cup, completely different roads. These qualifiers don't just define who goes. They shape generations. They impact federations financially. They decide coaching careers. They influence development. One result can shift everything. This is happening in matches most people never watch. And every one of those matches runs at full standard: live broadcast, stadium operations, team movements, security protocols. Because even if the world isn't watching, the consequences don't change. Circuits. Not everything leads to a final event. Some sports run on circuits. Tennis is the clearest example. ATP and WTA are not tournaments. They are year-long calendars. Every week, there's an event. Different city, different country, different setup. Players move. Teams move. The level doesn't drop. A 250 ATP still needs media operations, player services, precise scheduling. Everything connects to rankings. Points earned today decide entry into bigger tournaments tomorrow, and those tournaments define who reaches the top. And what makes it more demanding is that players don't stay in one place. They travel every week. Time zones change. Conditions change. Expectations don't. The operation has to adapt constantly. Fast turnarounds. Minimal margin for error, because the next tournament is already waiting. Moving circus. Formula One takes it further. This is not just a championship. It's a traveling operation. Before a race weekend starts, a team is already on site, advancing, checking infrastructure, setting up. Then the main group arrives. Cars, garages, broadcast compounds, hospitality. Everything gets built in days. The race happens, and within hours, everything is packed and moving again. Next country, next circuit. This repeats. more than 20 times a year. 2 operations run in parallel. One sets up the next race, while the other finishes the current one, and the scale is hard to grasp. Entire garages rebuilt every weekend, broadcast moving across continents, freight moving by air, sea, and land, simultaneously, all synchronized, because if one piece doesn't arrive, the whole weekend is at risk. That's not logistics. That's choreography. One moment. This is the part you only understand from inside. Everything looks ready. Schedules locked. Teams in place. And then, something shifts. A small delay. Nothing dramatic. Until it affects something else. And that affects something bigger. People move. Phones come out. Short conversations. Fast decisions. No panic. Everyone knows what to do. You don't fix one problem. You adjust everything around it. And within minutes, it works again. Not perfectly, but enough. Enough for everything to keep moving. Enough for nobody outside to notice. That's the job. The job. Where people actually start. This is the part most people don't see. Yes, the Olympics exist. Yes, the World Cup exists. Opportunities are everywhere. Events happening every week. In different cities, countries, scales. And all of them need people. Accreditation, media, transport, venue operations. This is where most careers begin. Not because they're smaller, but because they're closer. Closer to the operation. Closer to decisions. Closer to the real pace. You get involved. You learn fast. You understand how things connect. And for many, it starts as a volunteer. And this is where people realize, this is not just a job. It's a rhythm, a way of working, a way of moving. And once you're in, it's hard to step away. From there, you move, event to event, role to role, building experience, meeting people, understanding the environment. Over time, that's what takes you to the biggest stages, not by skipping steps, by being part of them. Why this matters. Once you understand this, you don't just watch events, you read them. You see what's at stake. You understand what's being decided. Because what looks simple is carrying much more underneath. The bigger picture. After a while, you don't need to be told how it works. You start recognizing it. You notice patterns. You recognize faces. How one event leads into the next, without ever really pausing. After a while, you stop thinking of them as separate competitions. It starts feeling like one continuous world. And once you see that, the next question is obvious. How do you actually get in? We'll get there. Welcome to Inside the Games.